What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a match from one of our most recent locals. This is going to be between MetalGarurumon X Antibody on the left, and then on the right we're going to be having the blue-green Imperialdramon, and it looks like they will be starting off the game with the Madoki in the back, and then going to play out the BT8 Vmons. Only card reveal that you can grab is going to be that Magna, 3 Vmons going to the bottom, but still able to at least get a hit. Looks like they had a couple rookies in hand, and I think I see one more in hand, so don't necessarily need more rookies in the hand currently, but looking like no champion coming from the Melga side. They do have that Cool Boy, which if you play it, the only champion you'd be able to hit would be the Garurumon X Antibody, so going to play it out, we'll be able to hit the Gabu X, and having to put one of the Garurumon to the bottom, which is a little bit unfortunate, but at least you get another draw there with that Gabumon X Antibody. Surprisingly, they went for it in raising. I figured they might want to play it out to guarantee that they get some search going, but off the Digivolve, they did hit that BT5 Gabumon, so you can play that out, get some more search, and then just going to go straight for the Magna on the other end. Nice blocker. It is going to make it so that they won't be able to get early chip checks, which is something that you might want to do in this matchup just because you want to chip into your opponent's security. That way you can hit their things like Hammer Sparks or Mega Deaths early, and then you can go for your War Garurumon later, but Magnamon will be able to shut that down a little bit, and this Madoki could be a little bit annoying. We see some blue memory boost in hand, and we also see BT5 Garurumon, so Madoki does have a few cards that they will be shutting off, and so that will slow them down a little bit in the early game, but I don't think there's any Hammer Sparks in hand, so no direct memory gain, but that's also nice for security. When Madoki's out, you will be able to more safely swing into security without having to hit like Hammer Spark or Ice Wall. But we see the Imperial player just go straight for that Magnamon X Antibody over the Magnamon, and that's very nice for a couple reasons. One, the Magnamon itself is just a level 4 and easily bounced with cards like Garurumon X Antibody, and also you have the ability to redirect attacks, so if they do go into their promo Garurumon, they will be able to swing. You can redirect with that Magna. They don't have the Garurumon X Antibody at the moment, so they would get deleted, and then even if they did have the sources, they'd have to strip sources, and when they unsuspend, they would swing again, and you'd just be able to redirect again. So the Magnamon X really good in this spot, especially with the Madoki down below, because that gives you something else to prevent the bouncing of MetalGarurumon X Antibody. Obviously, you're going to have to get a second thing out if you want that to happen, because if they go into the Garurumon X Antibody, it'll bounce level 4 or lower, and then they go into the MetalGarurumon X Antibody, and that will bounce the Magna X, but it doesn't matter because they actually end up swinging in and hit Omnimon, so their Magnamon X will go down. They will be able to recover one, but I think you just wanted the Magnamon X a little bit more. That was a not super risky swing, but it ended up being pretty punishing because that Magnamon X was definitely helping you out here, but now the opponent has the ability to just go in. They finally have that Garurumon X, so they have the protection that they need. Now they're going to be able to swing and unsuspend. You are sitting at, it looks like 9k DP because you're getting a boost from the Garuru, the Gabu, and the Sunomon, so going to double swing over that stack, and then going to be able to go into the X Antibody, which will unsuspend and bounce the Madoki, so just clearing off the board right now, and you have 11k, and if they swing in, we know that the Magnamon X is at the top, and that card itself is 11k, so we're going to have to see if they do end up swinging for it, and they are just going to go ahead and trash the Gabumon sources. Looks like they just wanted to get as much damage as possible, and they popped the memory boost to go to 2, but on that second check they hit the Ice Wall, so going down to 0. Not 100% sure what their plan was there. I see the EX1 MetalGarurumon, so potentially they were planning to go into that, but now not going to be able to because there's no way they have enough cards to be able to keep turn unless they just want to use it to pass. Looks like they are Digivolving up, so Digivolve for 4, gain 3 memory, so it does put their opponent at 1, so that's actually not too bad because now you're choking them. You have a stack that's going to be pretty hard for them to get rid of because they don't have a green source, so they can't Mega Death you right now, and in fact we're just going to go for the blue memory boost. Got to be able to set up to try to go for Imperialdramon or something and get that Stingmon out, so get that memory gain from the blue memory boost in the following turns and use those to combo off. Now, depending on if they have any more Omnimon, depends on if they could go for game or not right now, because they can swing. They can use the X Antibody to go up into the MetalGarurumon X Antibody, so we will swing. We'll Digivolve up here. You can activate your Cool Boys, and you'll be able to unsuspend, and you're at a decent amount of DP, and they actually have the Omnimon, so you're just going to be able to swing, Digivolve up into the Omnimon X Antibody. Using that effect, it will be able to trash the last security, and then you just go in for game. So Melga able to take that game 1. I think the Imperial was in a pretty good spot until that Magnamon X went down, just because once that went down, the WereGarurumon and the X Antibody were able to just pop off, and that was really your only defense right there without any green source to be able to go for something like Megadeth. And looks like they are just building up right away into the promo WereGarurumon, but they don't have any protection at the moment. They will need to have something like Sagittarius mode and X Antibody to be able to get some sort of attack protection. But now we have a Magnamon on the board, which is a little bit risky because it can just get bounced with the X Antibody. And it's also interesting that they went over the EX1 Vmon instead of the suspended jamming Vmon, just to leave it unsuspended, and now going to get punished with that X Antibody because you are going to be able to swing over the rookie and then be able to just bounce the champion back. And they do swing into the fire mode. Again, no battle protection because we didn't have the Sagittarius mode to be able to get it through ultimates, and didn't have the Garurumon X. So now that stack will go down, so not in the worst of spots for Imperial. They do get a little breath of fresh air there as that stack goes down, and going to be able to have a chance to build up something of their own. So let's see if they want to build up in the back or develop. Looks like they're thinking about playing the Mimi. They also have couple option cards, or they could build up into a champion. So think about what they want to go for cost efficiency, just deciding to put the opponent at 1. If you play the Mimi, you put your opponent at 2, but you do prevent yourself from getting choked for the rest of the game, and be able to set up some aggression when you do get a level 5 going. And no rookie on the Melga side as it goes down, so instead of being able to set something up in the back, we are just going to go with the blue memory boost. And now might be not the worst time to try to set up the Mimi, so that way you know your opponent doesn't have anything going. They do have the rookie now, but they're gonna have to spend that turn building up, and they weren't able to build up last turn, so you get that extra turn to be able to try and get Mimi going. But still no really champions from the Imperial side. We want to be getting up into Imperialdramon obviously, but have just been sitting on the lower end. Need to see that XVmon and that Stingmon. I know that there's a Magnamon in hand, but that isn't the ideal blue level 4 for when you DNA Digivolve up. But if that's the only champion that they got, then they will have to make it work. But now starting to get some good cycle going from the Melga side, something that this deck is obviously very prone to do with all the cool boys, memory boosts, X Antibodies, and stuff like that. They were missing that a little bit, but now going to be able to go in and actually very interesting, going for the Stingmon Digivolve and then just swinging, and then going for the Magnamon in the back. So looking like they just want to get chip damage, put them down to 3. That does put you in the position to potentially go for game with something like Imperialdramon later, but that was very interesting. We don't normally see the Stingmon sacrificed off like that instead of just swinging with the rookie, but that does give you a bit of cycle. So I'm assuming, I can't fully see the hand clearly, but they must have another Stingmon or just another green source in hand. They might be playing something like the Parasaurmon, so have to see what that ends up being. But now no WereGarurumon promo, just going to go with the X Antibody and then popping the blue memory boost to go up into the EX1 Melga. I would imagine that they have enough cards in hand to gain the 2 memory. It looks like they have exactly 10, so going to be able to gain that 2, and I believe they have a Spark in hand, so they can use that to go up into the MetalGarurumon X Antibody. No X Antibody options, so going to have to just go for it here, and it looks like they are using that Spark. Going to be able to Digivolve up, gain blocker, and reboot. Are they going to swing in though without having the 2 checks? They are going to swing. First check is going to be that Chimeramon, and I saw the Blitz Omnimon, so I'm assuming that's probably what they are setting up for, but I don't know if they want to go for it this turn, or if maybe they want to go for something like the Omnimon X Antibody. They are moving the Blitz Omnimon to the front of their hand, so considering going for it here, we'll put the opponent at 4. They go to 3 anyway, gonna go for that swing, and they do hit HPD, so that could be something influential for this next turn. You aren't in really the worst position if you are the Imperial player, honestly. If you are able to get rid of this stack, your opponent has nothing that they could do to go for game next turn, so you not having security isn't the worst because they can't do anything to go for game if you are able to get rid of this Omnimon. It is going to be interesting getting rid of this Omnimon though, because it does have battle protection, it also has bounce protection, but I still think you could potentially find a way to go for it and clear it if you do have that HPD now. I'm just trying to think about what is going to be the game plan here. The Chimeramon does have 4 colors, so that's minus 4k to the Omnimon, plus 4k to the Chimeramon, but they do have battle protection. Again, they have the bounce protection thanks to that Omnimon, so can't go for something just like a clean Megadeth to get rid of it. They can tap the Mimi. They have that green level 5 now. Just going to get a little bit of cycle as we figure out what the next plan is going for the HPD, so you can go into the fighter mode. Davis Ken will be able to unsuspend, so you can use the effect to, they will have to get back a level 6 to be able to prevent the bounce, but they only have one battle protection, it looks like. So if you do want to get rid of this stack, you can just go for swing, unsuspend. They will use their battle protection, and then you can swing again. So looks like some slight confusion here, because Omnimon's effect, you can only use that when being bounced or deleted by an effect, so they will have to use battle protection here. Gets that fixed. We'll strip those two, and then now, since it is having that minus 4k, you will be able to swing over again, get rid of that stack, and now that keeps you alive going into your opponent's next turn. Like I said, if you were able to clear this stack, they can't go for game. They don't have, there's no white hybrids or anything to be able to go for game. So now you have the Imperialdramon fighter mode, which can swing, unsuspend. You have the Stingmon, and you have a Digimon in the back, while being able to gain extra memory with the Davis and Ken. So it's going to be pretty hard for Melga to not lose this game. I feel like they're going to have something like Kakaitis Breath just to get rid of this fighter mode, so they don't have the swings. But even then, you'd have so much memory that you'd probably be able to just DNA up into something like a Imperialdramon and go for game anyway. So yep, there's the Kakaitis Breath. I didn't actually see it in hand, so I didn't know if they had it, but they do have it. That is going to put the opponent at 6. Blue and green Digimon out there, so going to be able to gain that 2 from the Davis Ken. And like I said, you would just have enough memory to probably be able to DNA Digivolve up. You have jamming, so we need another Kakaitis Breath to be able to save you here. So we're just going to swing, unsuspend. Going for the Mimi first, just for protective reasons, in case it does go down or get bounced that first check. They did want to go ahead and tap that Mimi and just get that rookie in the back. But with a pretty strong board state and so much memory, it was a pretty good chance that Imperial was going to be able to take that game there. So now moving on into game 3, they are going to be having Imperial go first and just getting an XV in the back, something that we didn't really see till the end of the last game. And again, the Melga player is building up a stack that does not have battle protection. All they had were 2 Garurumon X antibodies in the hand, so just going to Digivolve up and then go into the promo where Garurumon, and now Cool Boy coming out, hits that X antibody, but that's not really what they're probably looking for. Probably looking more so for the Melga X, but hand isn't terrible. They have the ability to build a stack, but without the battle protection, it is a bit awkward, because there are some decent sized Digimon in the deck with the Magna X, the Imperials, and stuff like that. And also Megadeth is a looming threat that can be hit out of security at any point. We haven't seen Megadeth really have any use yet this set, but I think just one coming out of security, especially in a game 3 like this where the Melga player doesn't have the most fantastic hand, could be pretty big. Now attaching that X antibody option, so most likely going to be going for the swing here. They do have that EX1 Gabumon, so going to be able to use that to search out a Gabumon and then go for the Wergurumon X antibody. That will unsuspend, and you get the Cool Boy effect. Going to be able to swing for 2 checks because they have plenty of cards in hand, and even without the battle protection, going to be able to survive here. If they do get a Mega, they will be able to get battle protection because they have 2 level 5s, but that is a lot of aggression coming in right now, down to 1 security. Now, we saw in the last game that the Imperial player got pretty low on security and was still able to bring it back, but that's a lot of damage early, especially when you're getting choked to 1. They will be going to 3 thanks to the Davis Ken if they promote out that Imperialdramon, but it's still a pretty weird position because you need to do something about this Wergurumon X and get it off the board, or else it is just going to be threatening too many checks. So going to be swinging, jamming, unsuspend, Upamon Egg, so no draw, and just hitting the Gabumon. If you hit something like a Hammer Spark or something, it could be pretty deadly right here. Cool Boy not as scary as something that'll gain you memory, but they do have the Melga X now guaranteed, so if you don't get rid of this, that does give them the ability to swing, Digivolve up into the Melga X. That will unsuspend. You would clear the last security, and then you'd be able to go for game. But Megadeth finally showing up and going to be able to get rid of that stack while leaving the Imperialdramon pretty safely on the board. They will have to remove it with something like Kakaitis Breath, but this is scary for real, because now if you're the Imperial player, your opponent can pop the memory boost. They can put you to 1. Again, you'll go to 3, but they can just threaten to go for game. You know that there's the Melga X in hand, so if they swing and they are able to gain the memory to just Digivolve up into that Melga X and unsuspend, they will go for game. So this might be make or break for the Imperialdramon player. So gonna swing, unsuspend. Does have that jamming. HPD is actually gigantic because you can Digivolve up into the Dragon mode, use Davis Ken to unsuspend. You can play out the XV mod. Okay, actually, never mind. They don't have the other one, so that's not as big as I thought. unless they have that Stingmon, which they do. So now we are super hoping that there is just not a Hammer Spark or an Ice Wall in there. Gonna swing in, and there isn't, so it does end up working out. The HPD is going to get them there, going to be able to play out that XV, DNA up, get those swings, and that was an incredibly close set, something that happens a lot between these two decks because they just both have ways to answer each other, and having strong cards to come out of security can help as well. But if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe because I'll be bringing you even more Digimon content. But with that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Peace out.